when I started dialysis, I think I lost like 50 pounds.
What was it like going through all those recent like health issues you had? I think you had a bunch of tears, and then you had, I don't even remember what happened, but some shit happened, like your kidney or something like that, or?
Yeah, dude, it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to deal with. I tore my pec at Record Breakers, and then I came right home and opened up my gym that week. So I was dealing with that, getting MRIs for that, and then 3 months later I tore my quad, and then 2 months after my quad I went into complete kidney failure. So I'm laying in a hospital bed. They put me into the ICU. I was there for a week. They're doing all these tests. They can't figure out what's wrong with me. And then like my doctor's coming in, reading me my last rites and like asking me if I have like a will and testament in place. And I'm like, well, no, because I'm 33. And so he's just like, well, those are some things you need to think about. Because I had like vital organs shutting down and they couldn't figure out why. And my blood pressure was 260 over 140. So they finally stabilized me. We did a biopsy. They found out I was stage 5 and that I had a degenerative disease called FSGS, which stands for something that I can't even pronounce. But then they told me I would need a kidney transplant and that I would have to start dialysis. So that was all back to back to back to back, man. It was like one thing after another. You go from being in your best shape of your life and feeling like, you know, you're this invincible athlete to being like, okay, my life might be over. And that all happened within 6 months.
What was the rehab from that? Like how
Yeah, so I wasn't even done with the pec rehab when I hit the quad tear. And then with kidney disease, your protein synthesis is like shit. So you're not laying down tissue like you need to. And everything was slower. So I'm like going into these rehabs and like, you know, usually I rebounded pretty quick. Like I tore my bicep, I've had a couple other injuries, but nothing really lingered like this. So I was like, something's going on, you know, like I'm tired. I'm just not having the drive I used to. I thought I was burned out, you know, from doing the move, from opening up 2 gyms within 5 years. But it was, you know, obviously side effects from underlying health issues.
How much weight did you lose?
Initially, when they put me in the ICU, like I couldn't eat. You're just nauseous all the time. And you're eating fucking hotel food, like, or I'm sorry, hospital food. So initially I lost like 30 the first time. And then when I started dialysis, I think I lost like 50 pounds.
Did you need to get a kidney transplant?
I still do.
Oh, fuck.
So I'm on the waiting list. So I still do dialysis 5 days a week.
And then the dialysis, can you do that at home or do you have to go to a...
Well, originally I was in a clinic and then they trained us and, you know, I have to have Lauren there with me. She does, my fiance, she does, it's like they call it a healthcare provider, but she has to help me do it at home. But now we're able to do it at home. I can do it on my own time when I need to, but it's still like 4 hours a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Super annoying, super invasive, but when you don't do it, you feel sick?
Even when I do it, I feel sick. Yeah. So even when you know, dialysis is not meant to make you feel good. It's meant to keep you alive. So without these technologies, I would be dead already.
Any idea what caused it?
Yeah, you know, I think that you have the 2-strike theory, right? Like you have the genetic predisposition and then you have exposure. So I think that doing all the supplementation I did, right, running gear and eating the way I was, not watching my blood pressure was probably number one. And just thinking that I have time later to do these things. Like, okay, I'm going to push it now. And I was, man, for a while. Like I was getting stronger, I was getting bigger, things were looking well. And then my last 2 meets, things started coming down. Like I would smash 600 pounds in training, and then I would get into the meet and like not have the gas to do it. And everyone's like, "Oh, you shit the bed." And I'm like, "Yeah," but it didn't feel like I missed it. It felt like I just gassed out. So I always thought it was like an endurance issue. So every beat prep, I would just start working on my work capacity, trying to build that up, and I would get stronger and stronger. But then towards the meet, I would start running more gear, and then that would make me sick. And then that was the reason why I would not be able to hit these lifts.
How are you eating then? Because like you were eating to get bigger, but like, what do you think, I guess you should have changed on the eating side of things too, if you had to be more optimal in that time?
Yeah, I mean, again, it comes down to blood pressure, so probably something a little bit more blood pressure friendly.
Yeah.
Because back then, you know, I'd eat as much as I can in the doses I could, but it was like, you know, like pretty much healthier foods, but it was just a lot of it. And I would salt everything, and then, you know, you're drinking 3 cups of coffee in the morning, then I would go take a pre-workout, and then I would go to work, and then I would drink a Bang. So you're like caffeinated.
You just described all three of us.
Yeah, well.
We're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean.
You. I haven't had caffeine today at all, or yesterday. Well, I had a little bit yesterday, but hey, just put it out there.
Yeah, well, if you have blood pressure issues, it's only going to make it worse. But if you're not having issues, like, you're going to be fine. Probably.
You think people should maybe look into their blood pressure a little bit more? Like, that seems like an easy place to start.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm a big advocate for it now. Obviously, like, I try to guide people in a way where it's like you got to take your health seriously first, because when you're young, you just feel like you have more time. Like, I could, you know, you're like, I was building businesses. I didn't have insurance. I was just putting all my money into trying to get ahead, thinking that once I get into this spot, I can get health insurance to take care of myself. But, you know, it was too little too late.
Power Project family, how's it going? Now on this podcast, Mark, Andrew, and I, we talk about fasting a lot. We talk about the ketogenic diet and a lot of different types of diets. But Bubs Naturals has a product. They have the collagen protein, which is amazing. They have these apple cider vinegar gummies, which are like crack. But they have
They are.
these, they have these MCT oil powder packets that I've never used to do this, but in the morning I'll wake up and I'll put it in coffee, and the smoothness, number one, in terms of the mixing is amazing, but the consistency of my energy through the day because of the MCT oil powder is peak. Andrew, how's your experience with it?
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. It's like the best way to start the day. You're satiated, you're energized, and you're just ready to crush the day. So if you guys want to get in on this MCT oil powder, head over to bubsnaturals.com, and at checkout, enter promo code PowerProject to save 20% off your entire order. Again, Bubs Naturals, promo code PowerProject to save 20% off. Links to them down in the description, as well as the podcast show notes.
And I think the blood pressure has been the main culprit of a lot of these guys dying more recently. These guys having heart attacks and stuff like that. I think it's just their blood pressure is so high.
Yeah.
I mean, you're lucky you didn't have a heart attack with your blood pressure being that high. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, and what was funny, it was initially they had thought I was going into heart failure because they were doing these tests, and like kidneys cause heart issues and heart issues cause kidney issues. So they couldn't really tell which was which, and that's why they were like running all those tests. But when my kidneys stabilized, they looked at my heart and they're like, your heart's fine. So I wasn't having heart issues, and I'm lucky that the blood pressure didn't cause any heart issues.
Then how do you get a kidney transplant? Like, what's the procedure?
Dude, it was so hard to get on this list. It's like they make you do all these tests, and you got to, you know, you're getting drug tested, you're getting tissue type testing, you're getting stress tested. You got to jump through all these hoops. I had to get like dental exams, and all this time while trying to like keep on my business, you know. So you like have this part-time job with your medical, this part-time job with your dialysis, and then a full-time job trying to run a gym and train clients. So it took me a while to get through it all, but now that I'm on the list, I just have to find somebody that would either be willing to donate a kidney, or I have to wait on the list. And the waiting list is about 4 to 6 years, and I'm at 2.
And so when you're learning or you're going through all of this with the, like the initial like hospital visits and all this stuff, are you around family? Because you were saying you're moving around a lot, or are you out by yourself?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time in the hospital alone. So it was a eye-opening experience, you know, like the people that you think are close to, and you're just sitting there by yourself every day. I mean, of course, I had my fiance coming in and visiting, but it's a lot of alone time.
What would your advice be then? Like, there's a lot of athletes that are like pushing hard, right?
Right.
And maybe just like you mentioned, they are very just short-term thinkers currently. Everything's going well. Maybe they're not getting things tested. If you could like go back and do things a little bit differently, what would you do so that other athletes can take note of that?
Just keep an eye on my health. You know, I don't really have many regrets. You know what I mean? Like, I think people need to live the life that they want to live. And I don't think anything I'm going to say is going to change anything for anybody. Yeah. Because, it's nothing I didn't hear. But it's, just keeping an eye on your health, taking that stuff serious, and understanding that these things happen even when you don't feel sick. Mm-hmm. So it's things that can be going on that you don't even know about.
And even when you don't look sick, because you were always lean. Even at your biggest, I mean, you may have felt fat for you, but you were still in great shape, especially in comparison to powerlifters.
Yeah. I mean, there was times I was holding water. Like the last meet I did, I couldn't make weight. I was trying to get down to 275, and I was a lean 275, all prep. Then I had started increasing my drug dosages, and then I put on like 30 pounds in 3 weeks. Like, I was talking to my buddy Andy. He was competing at the same meet. And he's
like, did I take these earlier today? You're like, fuck it.
But I wasn't even taking a lot. It was just my kidneys couldn't handle it, and I had like the worst edema anybody's ever seen. Like, I was coaching with Chad, and Chad was looking at my ankles, and he's like, "Man, you got my ankles. Like, these things are massive."
Talking about Chad Wesley?
Yeah.
His ankles are huge.
Yeah.
Your ankles were like swollen, and you had like pitted edema, right? Like where if you push on it, then it stays dented in or whatever, right?
Like scary. And that is why when I tore my pec, like the blood had pooled so bad. I don't know if you saw the pic, but it was like over half my body turned purple.
Wow.
Yeah. And it even got like down towards my legs.
Damn.
You able to work out much right now? Because you're still fucking big. You said you can't hold on to
now
muscle,
you
but
can push, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've maintained decently, and it took me a while to figure some things out. Like, I got out of dialysis. Before dialysis, I was getting pretty sick, and then dialysis brought my kidney function back up to about 20%. And there's been some ups and downs. Like, I've had a few issues with the treatment I've been getting, so it's not like an exact science. They just don't put everybody on the same plan. They kind of it's touch and go, and they still don't know everything. So it's kind of just like, all right, let's try this, let's try that. So I'm on a bunch of medication right now, and a lot of them, every bottle of the medication says do not drive or operate heavy machinery. Like, it makes you really tired and really unfocused. But I'm able to do enough, like, I have to train a lot different than I used to, and it took me a while to figure that out.
Does like certain parts of your body hurt at all, or is it like because your kidneys are inflamed, or like, so does anything in your back hurt or something like that?
Kidneys cause a slew of issues that you would not even think about, and a lot of them definitely impair training. So it's like joint pain and fatigue, and you lose focus. So a lot of times I'll be like just staring at a wall, trying to like, all right, next set, like trying to motivate myself. So it's been a learning curve for sure.
And are you able to be on like TRT or anything like that right now, or is everything off the table?
No, so that was actually prescribed to me after a year. So I came off everything for a year and went through all the testing, and my testosterone got so low, it was like, it was the worst I've ever felt. I had a lot more issues off of testosterone than I did when they started supplementing it. So now I see a completely different doctor, and he does all that for me.
From a mental standpoint, it's really hard, right?
Yeah, I mean, the mental part has been hard all the way through. But when you're low test, you have low energy, and even worse energy, and even less focus, and you really kind of start losing motivation. It's just like you're just going through the paces. But what had really happened, I was like really nauseous. I couldn't eat. I started throwing up everything I was eating, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. And so I went and saw a specialist, and he's like, "Here, let's try this." I think my test level was down to 80.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It was like
next to nothing.
No, I know. It was not something I would recommend for anybody to try.
Hey, wait, before you go, you got this far. That means that you've enjoyed the heat that we're continuing to bring you. So listen, like the video, comment something down below. We'll reply back, and subscribe to the channel because we continue to bring you the heat. Seriously, do it. Love you. Bye.